This is Valley News Live at noon.
Well, new at noon, one man is under arrest after police say he shot at a vehicle in downtown Fargo. On Saturday around 1:30 in the morning, officers were called to the 400 block of University Drive north for shots fired. Two people told police they were in a vehicle when someone shot at them and walked away. Officers then found 29-year-old Cody Santiago of Fargo with a handgun. The shells in the gun matched the casings found at the scene. Santiago is in jail for aggravated assault. No one was hurt. Also new at noon, a man from Center City, Minnesota has died after rolling an ATV in northern Minnesota. The Cass County Sheriff's Office received a report about a 54-year-old man who was missing in the Foothills State Forest on Saturday. People camping in the area said he left the campsite around 8:30 a.m. and was supposed to return shortly after. When he didn't come back, the campers became worried and started to search. Around 5:45 that night, the man was found dead. The sheriff's office says it appears he crashed the ATV on a curve and rolled down a steep ravine. But a pleasant day to start our week with temperatures getting into the 70s. But changes are on the way. Let's check in with meteorologist Jim Gash about the cool down later this week.
That's right, Jillian. We have announced a first alert weather day for that cold that will be moving in later half of this week on Thursday, thanks to some very gusty winds. And then that cold will be fully in place by Friday. But right now we have temperatures in the 60s and 70s for most. Those 70s are located in the Southern Valley, while people up north are still in the 60s at this hour. And of course, we do have those scattered showers remaining scattered throughout the region, primarily along the North Dakota-South Dakota border and as well as in the James River Basin. And those showers aren't providing much rain, but they do make things look pretty gloomy out there. Here in Fargo for the rest of the afternoon, we'll continue to see those passing clouds and have temperatures pretty nice in the low 70s. But again, we do have that cold coming up, and I'll let you know what we can expect with that coming up in a few minutes.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Jim. The death toll in Florida from Hurricane Ian is now up to 82 and could go higher as the search for survivors and victims continue. More than 600,000 remain without power following last week's devastating storm, and there's more flooding in some parts of the state. Chris Hoffman has the latest from Fort Myers.
As cleanup efforts continue in Fort Myers, Florida, residents are still coming to terms with the massive damage that Hurricane Ian inflicted.
Kitchen's got to come out, the bathrooms are all got to come out. It's a complete redo.
I was just devastated seeing what was happening to the property. It was hard to comprehend.
Before and after satellite images show the scope of the destruction.
From here on out, we're just going to exist.
I feel like we're existing, but we're really not living. Our life is right there.
Hundreds of thousands of people are still without power.
Rest assured, they are working hard to get those lights back on.
Fuel and water remain in short supply. State officials are now defending the timing of evacuation orders in the Fort Myers area that some say didn't come soon enough.
It was a situation where those folks at the local level, as that storm started to shift, then they took that data and then they acted appropriately.
The destruction is still everywhere in Fort Myers Beach, Florida, from boats landing on buildings to other structures just left as rubble.
I fell off the roof over there, and one guy almost cut his thumb off, but everybody made it through. Everybody made it through okay.
Sean Shelton rode out the storm on a shrimp boat, which is now in a pile of debris with other boats on Fort Myers Beach.
Where do you even begin to pick up the peak after this? Where do you even start?
I don't know. We're having a meeting. We're going to try to figure out what we're all going to do.
In some parts of Florida, the danger from flooding isn't over.
I can't get out, and I prayed. That's all I know how to do is pray.
Homes are flooded in Deltona, in the central part of Florida, and there's a voluntary evacuation in St. Cloud as water levels continue to rise. Chris Hoffman, CBS News, Fort Myers, Florida.
President Biden plans to tour the damage in Florida on Wednesday. A Twin Cities woman is hurt after a crash in Becker County, and police are looking for other people in the car who took off running. It happened just before midnight on Highway 59 South. The State Patrol says the driver left the road and smashed into a light pole. A 30-year-old woman is being treated at the DL hospital. A 24-year-old man is heading to court this week after a shooting in downtown Fargo over the weekend that left another man with life-threatening injuries. Police were called to the 600 block of Main Avenue Saturday night after reports of a shooting during a fight between two people who knew each other. Police say Schuyler Ferguson turned himself in to police a few hours after the shooting. He's in the Cass County Jail for aggravated assault. A Fargo man is in jail accused of stealing a car. Police pulled over a reported stolen vehicle in the 3900 block of 13th Avenue South yesterday. 25-year-old William Seward was taken into custody for possession to a stolen vehicle and drug paraphernalia. Federal investigators are looking for the cause of a plane crash that killed 3 people in northern Minnesota. It happened late Saturday night in Hermantown, which is west of Duluth. You can see a huge gouge in the second floor of the home caused by the plane's impact. 2 men from Burnsville and a woman from St. Paul were on board the small plane when it crashed. They all died, but police say 2 people inside the home at the time were not hurt. The crash scene is about a mile from Duluth Airport. The touring continues from veterans from North Dakota and Minnesota who are in Washington, D.C. on the latest honor flight. However, Hurricane Ian is impacting the group, rain is falling, and it's forcing changes to their schedule. They stayed dry this morning as they visited the National Archives. They are hoping the weather allows them the chance to visit Arlington National Cemetery this afternoon. There are more than 90 vets on this trip. Look for more coverage, including a live shot from Valley News Live Mike Morgan tonight on Valley News Live at 6 and 6:30. But coming up at noon, rescuing pets that were left behind during Hurricane Ian. But first, weather to plan your Monday.